infringements of the rights to keep and bear arms. Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. An ordinance to establish a county prohibition on the infringements of the right to keep and bear arms.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion to suspend the rules for an amendment?
Mr. Shaw?
Wait a minute, this is third reading?
Yeah, we made it at, second reading.
The motion would be to suspend those rules to amend it here at third reading.
I thought we did it at second reading and said that we could have amendments at third reading.
But we have if I'm not mistaken, Counselor, correct me, any amendments at third reading have to be in writing.
I did provide it. I haven't provided writing to everybody, thankfully. You mean submitted to the clerk in writing or just,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, and Shaw, I apologize to you, I had forgotten about our table that y'all passed. It talks about having a publication and having it in the packet prior to third reading. So, if council wants to suspend that rule, they can. We can go through that process. But this year, you impose a new requirement that asks that third reading matters, as it relates to amendments, be distributed prior to the meeting. I think we've gone through that exercise a few times already this year. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Shaw certainly can make a motion to suspend that rule at this time, if he so chooses.
Shaw, what's your pleasure?
well, I would make the motion to suspend the rules. Can I get some comment?
Ms. Stevens?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I just pulled up the minutes from your last meeting, so maybe, because I wasn't here, so this is my clarification. It says the action, Mr. Barnes moved for adoption of the ordinance, and then it says that Councilor Dill made motion to hold and the motion to pull the hearing. So I guess that's how we're still here at third, right?
That is another option. You could hold it or send it back to the committee.
Well,
So we do either one.
well,
Or we can do, you got three
I
options.
was,
Okay, Mr. Biden.
I just wanted to ask Mr. Shaw, is the amendment substantive or just language?
it's substantive in the manner that it defines the acts a little bit better, so anybody who, again, taking a step back, it's a county non-spending ordinance to say that we would not spend taxpayers' money to support a taxpayer-funded employee from doing anything unconstitutional with respect to the right to keep and bear arms. I think what the idea of this amendment is simply to clarify a little bit more what those acts are so we have more clarity. I have discussed it with Greenville County Sheriff's Office and, I did provide you with a copy. It's a little late notice, but I think it's substantive, but it's not something that's shattering the foundation of the ordinance.
Mr. Fan.
Mr. Chairman.
I would suggest, if it's okay, for simplicity, can we just see if we can suspend the rules and then not hold it and then let him serve notice at the next meeting ahead of time in the packet so we don't have the issue?
That is an option, that is on the floor now, so what we're discussing is either to, hold it, or, to suspend the rules, and that's really what we're discussing. So if that's what it relates to, Mr. Kirby?
Mr. Chairman, it occurred to me that this is not a very time-sensitive thing, and I think we all need to have time to understand that was the purpose of requiring amendments to be in writing and the fact that prior to third reading, if there were going to be amendments to third reading, and this is short delay, and I voted for the second reading, and I look forward to supporting this. I just want to be able to understand more fully and see what those changes are before we kind of rush it a little bit here tonight. So let's do that.
Sure. Did someone make a motion to accept for amendments on third reading?
No, they didn't, and that's what he's asking to be suspended, so
Tina, did you just say that motion was made last time?
You held it on the floor last time at
Oh,
the.
it is.
It was made the meeting prior to the
Oh.
last
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah, no, it just.
So that
That was
motion,
to have
the
both
motion
third
to
reading.
amend the third reading was made?
No, it's not.
Yes.
Please help clarify this with the help of Ms. McCaskill. Up to this point, there's been no amendment to allow for amendments to third reading on this ordinance. If Mr. Shaw is inclined to go the direction he's hearing from this part of the dais over here, he needs just simply to make a motion to allow for amendments to third. At the next meeting, it would be if you want to do that. But it's also certainly susceptible to suspending two rules.
Look at it.
All right, that might be the simplest thing to do.
I'm just gonna go with simplicity, make a motion to suspend both rules. I think the amendment is, fairly easy to read and would not require a lot of debate, so anyway, that would be my argument.
Mr. Chair, I think I heard, sorry.
Yes. Just stand.
Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Shaw, Councilor Shaw, did you say, for clarification, that the sheriff of Greenville County has read this, met with his attorneys, and has approved this language?
My discussion with counsel for the sheriff's office and my knowledge and friendship of the officers that I know and the deputies that I know, but most importantly, it's been vetted through counsel of the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, yes.
Okay, so the sheriff's office is vetted.
Correct.
Okay. That was my question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Counselor Shaw.
All right. So now, what is your motion?
Okay. My motion would be to suspend two rules to allow me to make an amendment to the ordinance.
Okay. All right, that's the motion before us. All in favor?
Well, we clarify which rules we're suspending.
I didn't understand.
Can we clarify which rules we're suspending?
We're suspending.
Notice
Okay.
and.
I think I can help. There are two rules in front of this right now. One is that we've not allowed for amendments at third reading at this point. That needs to be addressed. And the second motion for suspension after that would be then to suspend the publication requirement from Friday.
You have to do that one at a time?
My advice would be that those are two separate rules within this, and I would take them up as you go for clarity's sake.
So the first one would be to,
Allow for amendments at third reading.
minutes at third reading. All right? So that's what's before you now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that one passes. And then the next one was to suspend the rules so that we could vote on it tonight. All right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The ayes have it, and, so we will suspend the rules, so we're ready to, go to your motion now.
Okay. We have to vote on the amendment first, right?
Sir,
We'd have to vote on his amendment first, right?
He's gotta make them.
you gotta make it.
That motion.
Yeah,
Okay.
Now we can make that.
now you can make your motion.
Okay, now being clear to make a motion, I motion to amend the clerk's copy of the ordinance with, the following language. I can read it in, or I can give it to everybody.
The rules, excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
The rules, say that we can ask for it to be submitted in writing before we vote. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but I'm saying I didn't get a copy of it. Is this my copy?
I think it's over there. There's one more sheet. I didn't realize I had a copy.
That called my attention, that maybe I wouldn't say anything. But I think this has been done pretty sloppily right here, and I hope we take a lesson from it, and we all understand the procedures moving forward and follow. Thank you very much.
Understood, it's understood. I will just read it in. Again, the purpose is to clarify. Should I read it all in, or can you accept it as written?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Shaw, I assume you're adding this to section 2.
Right,
These are going in 2B.
yes, under the 2B, it would be,
Some additional,
to add a small letter V, talking about the unlawful infringement shall consist of any act ordering, basically confiscation of firearms, firearms accessories, ammunition, registration, tracking of firearms, firearms accessories, ammunition, any registration of or tracking of the owner of firearms, firearms accessories, firearm ammunition, any prohibition, regulation, and/or use restriction related to ownership or of the constitutionally guaranteed lawful use or carry of non-fully automatic firearms. And then also to add a small letter VI, and that no employee of Greenville County, while acting in their official capacity, shall knowingly and willingly participate in any way in the enforcement of any of these prohibited acts as defined herein regarding personal firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunitions. And that would be the end of the amendment.
And, I think all of you have this at your seat, is the red copy. Okay, so you understand what he is proposing that we amend this. Okay, now comments or questions on the amendment? Yes.
Can I just say, will you just clarify the language around registration? Because currently now when you buy a firearm, you have to register. Is it registered or is it not registered?
That's a good question, Councilor Seaman. There's no federal registration of firearms, so it's up to states whether they want to require that. South Carolina has no registration of firearms, so we wouldn't be under any registration. Now, the more exotic things like suppressors and automatics and the things that came about in the 1920s with the prohibition and all that, those are called NFA, and those do require registration. But your common things that most people have for self-defense do not have a registration.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we vote? Okay, all in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so the bill is amended, so what we have is the ordinance as amended. Any comments or questions on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. All right, our next item is the master lease agreement, Greenville County, Halton Road